very difficult to get people's attention after every dinner, right? Or during having dinner. But thank you so much for can you guys hear me? Is it better now? Okay. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Farhan. Thank you, Ruj, for setting this up and appreciate inviting us. I'm going to be probably everybody of all of you had visited a doctor, right?
No, I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
you have not.
Not for the last 12 years.
Then you're the lucky one, right?
What is the secret?
What is the secret, right?
Oh, yeah. Eat whatever you want.
Well, this product is not for you for sure. Well, so by the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ritaka. Ritaka is our AI scribing and coding platform, which we launched as part of the Visionet's umbrella product companies. This is an still AI startup. We are piloting it with some customers. It's going to solve the main known problem of medical scribing and coding for physicians and doctors. A big market space, multi-billion dollar in the current market space is going to continuously growing to maybe 13, 14, 15% with CAGR next 3, 4, 5 years. So we see a lot of potential in this area. The challenge obviously is that as the EHRs or EMRs has been evolved and there are more regulations and compliances. Now everybody wants to put in more data and reasoning of procedures and how to identify what disease has been identified. So there is a huge burden on doctors to document everything. And it takes a long time for them to, after the patient visit, not only document it, but also to get that billed to the insurance companies and get reimbursed on that. So it's not only the physician's time which is consumed for scribing, but also improvement of the revenue cycles from coding point of view. So we looked at this problem, we identified an opportunity, we created a solution which not only does the scribing for the doctor, so when you're going and visiting and having an encounter with the patient and doctor, you'll record the session, you automatically scribe it, you create the SOAP notes, you create the patient summary, you create the referrals if you have to. And once that is done, because that becomes the basis for your billing to the insurance companies, then we, based on the ICT codes, CPT codes, ENM codes, we create codes and identify codes and present it to the scribers, the coders, which can be then submitted into billing. The initial rolling out of the product is to really optimize this. Let's say if we estimate about 114 minutes to consume from encounter to the coding and billing to the insurance companies, we can really cut it down to 47 minutes, save significant amount of expensive physician's time. So that's number one use case. But more importantly, that a lot of time physicians either miss to note something in the SOAP note or code it properly, which kind of can cause incorrect billing or misbilling or not ability to generate the revenue like which they can. So all those problems could be automated and solved through AI. And for that, the challenge is that now everybody thinks that now we have these big AI models. You can just load the voice recording in those models and it will solve and create all of those things for you. Unfortunately, it is not that easy. I started working with this team, realized that the problem is too much complicated. When you are having a conversation with a patient, there are many times things which you need to train physicians as well. For example, if a doctor asks patient, are you taking medication, and the patient just nods the head, the AI has no way to know that because if it's relying on the voice of that conversation happening, right? So you have to train physicians that whenever something like that happens, they have to verbalize it so that the AI can detect it and kind of notarize it. And so there are many other problems that for example, you are in a room and you're talking to a patient, and then a nurse comes in, and the nurse also interrupts and asks a couple of things. So your AI needs to eliminate all those conversations, as well as you're talking about weather, small talk of understanding how things are going, what about traffic and things like that. You have to remove all those from SOAP notes. So what we have done is we have divided the problem into multiple smaller problems, and we start solving them Speech is one problem. Creating soap note is another problem. Removing hallucination from that is another problem. Then out of that, after the soap note is created, creating ICD codes and identifying the right ICD code so that you can get the money for whatever procedure or diagnosis you have done appropriately. Like, sometimes either scriber miss it or physician miss it, and that, just miss you the revenue cycles from that point of view. Some of these slides, you can see there are some I think, timing and some improvement areas, clinical burnout, and the efficiencies which are being documented here. But there is a video also playing which is showing the platform. So as soon as you get into a doctor's office, doctors just have to record that conversation, and after that, the platform takes care of it. Now, my and majority of our leadership expectation was that this is totally going to be done by AI. What our finding and probably the direction which we are going towards is that it is still going to need some human assistance. So the human in the loop is still going to be very important, because I think we are still far away from 100% automating it. So what we are really looking for is to do partnership with scribing companies, to do the partnership with doctors who are willing to use this technology, who are willing to explore this, work with us to make the recordings available, and even if it's gonna, let's say, if it's gonna save them 20 minutes of their time in one scribe, and they do 20 hours of 20 sessions every day, you can calculate it. Like, we estimated it for a facility of about 200 physicians is going to save 160,000 physician hours over a year if you do it right. So that type of efficiency, not only the physician side, but then it has significant improvement on the coding side as well. So we are really excited about the technology. I think there is many small things which we still have to address in this. But we are looking for partners who are willing to work with us. We're still partnering with some scribing companies, some cardiologists, and some nephrology practices who's going to be using this platform and going to take it to the market. For next 2-3 months, we're going to test it. We're going to pilot it with those people. And once we prove that the technology and the platform is reasonably good for bigger go-to-market, then we'll scale it and take it to market. If anybody has any questions, please let me know.
Hospital billing and coding departments will be gone.
I think the first step is to improve the efficiency. So even if, for example, scribers, if the one scriber is, by the way, there are many companies who are currently virtually and on-site scribing with the doctors, and they charge, let's say, $25 to $35 per hour. If you can optimize those scribers, that instead of taking care of 10 doctors today, they can support 20 doctors. That's an efficiency, 50% gain or 100% gain in their efficiency right there. So the challenge with many of the AI applications, in my mind, is that a lot of people expect that it's just going to solve 100% of the problem. If you can even get 25%, 50% of the improvement, I think it's a significant ROI for you to continuously investing in. And the way the technology is currently being trained and is accelerating, it's a matter of months or years, that it's going to be completely automated, and then we have other things to worry about. Yes.
So what is the latency in the transcription?
Very good question. So the less latency you expect, the error rate increase. But if you can, for example, doctor does not need to write a soap note right then and there. But you can do it. It just has a slight more error rate to that. There are real-time APIs. We use real-time APIs, so you can really do the scribing at the real time. But it has more chances of erroring. What we are doing is that we are doing it two-stage. Once you do real time, so it is called fast API, you can really do it right at the time. But after that whole soap note is done, we do a batch processing, and if there are any anomalies, we address and we notify the user that there were XYZ corrections made. But you can understand, in a real-time API, you have a very smaller context as compared to the batch. You have when you are able to listen to the entire conversation, then you have the start to end understanding of what the discussion is happening.
Are you fine-tuning or not?
Yes.
Where do you get the data?
So that's a very good question. So some data we sourced it, some we bought it, and some we synthetically generated. And I think the partnership especially is very important, not only from physicians but also from the scribing companies, because there is another very interesting use case. For example, federal government does auditing for scribing and the codes assigned to them. So that is an audit use case, but the same technology can be used for that also, right? You have the already scribed notes, SOAP notes, and then you have codes generated to it. You can run this technology and say that whether the codes assigned to that is 90% correct or 100% correct or not. But that's another use case for us. And that's what the reason I was saying is that the partnership with the physicians who understand are willing to invest their time in the technology is super important. At the same time, partnership with the scribing companies is something which we are open to do more of these. Yes.
Are you integrated with any EHRs or other software applications?
eClinic works. eClinic, you cannot hear me? Okay. Yeah, are we integrated with any softwares or EMR solutions today? So eClinical works and Epic is the two ones which we are taking as a pilot. We have not completed the integration, but integration is an important piece to improve the end-to-end experience. But we believe that the accuracy of the technology is far more critical and important for us to put our focus first. Integration, we can do it. I mean, we are a technology company. We do integrations day and night, so that's not an issue for us at all. But making the technology accurate so that it can listen to you, it can identify and create the accurate SOAP note. I mean, if there are doctors here, they know that every doctor write their SOAP notes differently. So for the technology, not only the SOAP notes, the patient summaries and ICD codes, all those are different for each doctors and even each medical practice. Like we have started working with cardiologists, we started working with nephrologists, totally different space. And you need to, for example, if you want to work with pediatrics, that's another different space because now you are dealing with a child, and not only child, but their parent will be there as well, and you really need to that conversation become more and more complicated to really solve the problem. But yeah, the integration is in our pipeline. These two we are already working on, and the others will do. Yes.
You mentioned that you buy some of the data in order to train your algorithms. Where do you buy this? Is there a marketplace? Or?
There are companies who sells that data, but otherwise, I think my direction, my preference with the teams is to do partnership with the people who are actually using this type of process right now. For example, as I mentioned, physicians are today writing those SOAP notes themselves, or they're using third-party companies. So either we partner with them so that they are already taking benefit of this technology in their process. Scribing is the second partnership where we're working with them because they have SOAP notes or they're writing SOAP notes or they're getting information from the doctors and creating ICD codes. So that's the two main areas. But there are companies who actually sell the data very expensive though. It's a tough thing to. And if you are small and if you don't have a $200,000-$300,000 budget to buy bulk amount of data, then they probably don't even talk to you. And by the way, on the integration side, EMR or EHR integration is another big challenge because unless you are working with a big hospital facility or big doctor practice, they don't talk to you, and getting their attention is a big challenge also. But again, I guess whoever we have shown this technology to, whoever we piloted with them, they right away said, we want to do it. And if there are anybody here who's interested in knowing more about this technology, who wants to participate and pilot with us, we love to do that. Please do reach out. Yes.
What makes you guys different from? Because I know there's a lot of API platforms out there that have beta programs that describe exactly what you guys are talking about. So why would doctors choose you over like
Yeah, so our team has this, whole differentiating slides and comparison and all that. I think there are two things that in my mind is very important. Number one, if your experience is very seamless for the doctor, they will choose you. In my mind, that's number one. And number two is that, if you can integrate the entire supply chain, you can integrate from soap note creation to the coding and submitting to the billing companies, to the insurance carrier. If you have the end-to-end solution, I think that will be a big differentiator. And that's where what we are differentiating is that we're not only scribing, but we're also generating the ICT codes for billings to do that. I've taken more.
Yeah. No, yes. So sorry. We can talk at the
We
after
can-
the next.
We can talk. I'm here. You can talk to me later on. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.